So I'm going to be reading chapter 7 of book 3. It's called A Knock at the Door. This is right after chapter 6, which was called Triumph, and it was about Charles Darnay's trial where he was acquitted again. It was the second trial, acquitted the second time. He returns home, and basically Dr. Manette feels fulfilled. He feels recalled to life. He has a purpose. All that time that he spent in the Bastille was made worth it because he was able to help Lucy out by freeing Charles Darnay. So now we're just back at the house picking up pretty much where we left off. It's on page 279. And I'm going to skip around a good amount, so just follow along in your books if you can. And so it says, I have saved him. It was not another of the dreams in which he had often come back. He was really here, and yet his wife trembled, and a vague but heavy fear was upon her. All the air around was so thick and dark, the people were so passionately revengeful and fitful, the innocent were so constantly put to death on vague suspicion and black malice, it was so impossible to forget that many as blameless as her husband, and as dear to others as he was to her, every day shared the fate from which he had been clutched, that her heart could not be as lightened of its load as she felt it ought to be. The shadows of the wintry afternoon were beginning to fall, and even now the dreadful carts were rolling through the streets. Her mind pursued them, looking for him among the condemned, and then she clung to his real presence and trembled more. Her father, cheering her, showed a compassionate superiority to this woman's weakness, which was wonderful to see. No garret, no shoemaking, no 105 North Tower now. He had accomplished the task he had set himself. His promise was redeemed. He had saved Charles. Let them all lean upon him now. So he feels like very fulfilled. He's like, yes, I've done everything for them. He's like, Lucy can be weak now and it's fine because I'm here taking care of her. But she still feels very anxious. She feels like stressed out, and she's like, it could have just as easily been the other way, and all these other people experience it the other way, so like, why not her? She's still feeling really, really stressed out from this. Okay, so I'm skipping a few paragraphs to the second to last line on 280. It says, for some months past, Miss Pross and Mr. Cruncher had discharged the office of purveyors, the former carrying the money, the latter the basket. Every afternoon, at about the time when the public lamps were lighted, they fared forth on this duty, and made and brought home such purchases as were needful. Although Miss Pross, through her long association with a French family, might have known as much of their language as her own, if she had had a mind, she had no mind in that direction, consequently, she knew no more of that nonsense, as she was pleased to call it, than Mr. Cruncher did. So her manner of marketing was to plump a noun substantive at the head of the shopkeeper without any introduction in the nature of an article, and, if it happened not to be the name of the thing she wanted, to look around for that thing, lay hold of it, and hold on by until the bargain was concluded. She always made a bargain for it by holding up as a statement of its just price one finger less than the merchant held up, whatever his number might be. So essentially, every day. So it's been like months are passing, and every day Miss Pross and Jerry Cruncher go out and go shopping together, and they get everything that they need and they bring it back so that the Manettes and Charles Darnay don't have to leave the house. Now, Mr. Cruncher, said Miss Pross, whose eyes were red with felicity, if you are ready, I am. Okay, I'm going to skip over to on page 282. So Miss Pross on her way out, they're heading out to groceries now, and Miss Pross on her way out asks Dr. Manette, like, can I ask you a question before I go? And then I'm just skipping down to, on 282, it's a little less than halfway down. It says, I am glad you have so much of the Englishman in you, though I wish you had never taken that cold in your voice, said Miss Pross approvingly. But the question, Dr. Manette, is there, it was the good creature's way to affect to make light of anything that was a great anxiety with them to all, and to come at it in this chance manner. Is there any prospect yet of our getting out of this place? So she's like, when can we get out? But she's trying to do it nicely and not make him feel bad. I fear not yet. It would be dangerous for Charles yet. Hi-ho-hum, said Miss Pross, cheerfully repressing a sigh as she glanced at her darling golden in the golden hair in the light of the fire. Then we must have patience and wait, that's all. We must hold up our heads and fight low, as my brother Solomon used to say. Now, Mr. Cruncher, don't you move, Ladybird. They went out, leaving Lucy and her husband, her father, and the child by a bright fire. Mr. Lorry was expected back presently from the banking house. Miss Pross had lighted the lamp, but put it aside in the corner that they might enjoy the firelight undisturbed. Little Lucy sat by her grandfather with her hands clasped around through his arm, and he, in a tone not rising much above a whisper, began to tell her a story of a great and powerful fairy who had opened a prison wall and let out a captive who had once done the fairy a service. All was subdued and quiet, and Lucy was more at ease than she had been. "What is that?" she cried all at once. "My dear," said her father, stopping in his story and laying his hand on hers, "command yourself. What a disordered state you are in. The least thing, nothing, startles you. You, your father's daughter." So he's like, "Relax, like you're fine. I don't know, you're freaking out for no reason." Um, So on 283 it says, "I thought, my father," said Lucy, excusing herself with a pale face and a faltering voice, "that I heard strange feet upon the stairs. My love, the staircase is as still as death." As he said the word, a blow was struck upon the door. "Oh, father, father, what can this be? Hide Charles, save him." "My child," said the doctor, rising and laying his hand upon her shoulder, "I have saved him. What weakness is this, my dear? Let me go to the door." So he's like, "Don't worry, like it's fine. Don't be worried." He took the lamp in his hand, crossed the two intervening outer rooms, and opened it. A rude clattering of feet over the floor, and four rough men in red caps, armed with sabres and pistols, entered the room. "The citizen Evrémonde called Darnay," said the first. "Who seeks him?" answered Darnay. "I seek him. We seek him. I know you, Evrémonde. I saw you before the tribunal today. You are again the prisoner of the Republic." The four surrounded him, when he stood with his wife and the child clinging to him. "Tell me how and am why am I again a prisoner? It is enough that you return straight to the conciergerie, and will know tomorrow. You are summoned for tomorrow." Doctor Manette, whom this visitation had so turned into stone that he stood with the lamp in his hand as if he were a statue made to hold it, moved after these words were spoken, put the lamp down, and confronting the speaker, and taking him not ungently by the loose front of his red swollen woolen shirt, said, "You know him? You have said, do you know me?" "Yes, I know you, citizen doctor." "We all know you, citizen doctor," said the other three. He looked abstractedly from one to the other, and said in a lower voice after a pause, "Will you answer his question to me, then? How does this happen?" "Citizen doctor," said the first reluctantly, "he has been denounced to the section of Saint Antoine. This citizen," pointing out to the second who had entered, "is from Saint Antoine." "He is accused by Saint Antoine?" "He is accused of Saint Antoine." "Of what?" asked the doctor. "Citizen doctor," said the first, with his former reluctance, "ask no more. If the Republic demands sacrifices from you, without doubt you, as a good patriot, will be happy to make them. The Republic goes before all. The people is supreme. Evrémonde, we are pressed." So Dr. Manette is like, what is going on? He's upset. These people are like, if you really care about the Republic, then you would be fine making these sacrifices. Even if you have like personal gain to him, like you wouldn't care because the Republic comes before everything. So 284, it says, "One word," said the doctor entreated. "Will you tell me who denounced him?" "It is against rule," answered the first, "but you can ask him of Saint Antoine here." The doctor turned his eyes upon that man, who moved uneasily on his feet, rubbed his beard a little, and at length said, "Well, truly it is against rule, but he is denounced, and gravely, by the citizen and citizeness Defarge, and by one other." "What other? Do you ask, citizen doctor?" "Yes." "Then," said he of Saint Antoine with a strange look, "you will be answered tomorrow. Now I am dumb." Okay, so he's like, "I can't answer you right now. I want you to think about who would be the third person who would accuse him." So obviously we're not surprised that the two Defarges accused Charles Darnay of something, but now he's being brought to a third case, a third trial, and he's being accused by three different people, and we know two of them are the Defarges, but we don't know who this third person is. So be thinking about that. Nice.